Welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw. Hello, friends. Your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Flair here with you. Happy New Year, and welcome to our first Ridiculously Raw broadcast of 2018. Delighted to have you with us as always. Joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. I'm not sure about our other panelists, the Twisted Angel Dee Woodson and the Phenom Michael Bullock. Bullock's probably out somewhere, I'm sure. Haven't heard from him for days, and not sure about Dee Woodson. I'm guessing work commitments beyond her control. That's the only thing I can think of. So, barring either one of them coming in, looks like MF and I are going to be running the show for this night. So, of course, normally we would be doing Cerebral Smack Talk right now, but of course, with the New Year's holiday, we um, we pushed the shows back a night. So we're doing Ridiculously Raw tonight, and then tomorrow night we will have a special Wednesday edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95. So, all right. So now that we got all that out of the way, get down to business. The first Monday Night Raw of 2018 last night, live from the American Airlines Arena in Miami, Florida, the home of the Miami Heat. And we started it off with an in-ring segment. Surprise, surprise. General Manager Kurt Angle, um, and he made some announcements. Some very newsworthy announcements. There was that word again. That's what Monday Night Raw is known for, being newsworthy. And he announced that John Cena is going to be entering the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble matchup. And he also addressed what we've been wondering about, the rules of the Women's Royal Rumble match. And to the delight of all of us, he told us that we were going to have, just like the men, 30 women in this Royal Rumble match, and the winners will receive title opportunities at WrestleMania. And Angle, of course, being the Raw guy that he is, but then again, I would have done the same thing if I was general manager. I am expecting Raw wrestlers to win both matchups. We'll see, but then he would be interrupted by the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, and they whined and moaned about losing the tag team titles to Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan on Christmas night. And then Jason Jordan, came out for a rebuttal. And then Seth Rollins um, got on Jason Jordan and said, "Hey, man, you got to be a better partner. And you got to, we're a team now, man. And we got to look out for each other." So with all that being, and then it would be announced that well, the Bar wanted a rematch. They wanted a rematch on the show, but Kurt Angle says no. You're gonna have a rematch when I say you're gonna have a rematch. And Jordan and Cesaro got in each other's faces, and Angle says, "You know what? You two settle your differences right now." So, all right. So interesting opening in that it showed that Rollins and Jordan are not suddenly best buddies after winning the tag titles. And Angle announcing the Women's Royal Rumble featuring 30 participants obviously opens the door for a lot of women's wrestlers who are not on the main roster. That would be NXT talent, perhaps some of the women from some standouts from the Mae Young Classic, and perhaps your legendary women, the legends, like your Trish Stratuses and your Litas and maybe Victorias and Tori Wilsons, just to name a few. It should be fun though, even though it remains to be seen whether two Royal Rumble matches on one night is too much of a good thing. Even though I'm very excited about both matches, and I'm downright giddy about both matches. Of course, we're always giddy about the men's Royal Rumble match, but knowing that we're gonna have a women's one as well, and knowing that MF Bullock and I were there when the announcement was made about the women's match, I mean, it's still a blessing, and we're just still taking it in. We're drinking it in, man. So a very interesting opening segment indeed. So of course it's a 2-for-1 deal because we went right into the next match, the first match of the night. Cesaro with Sheamus in his corner against Jason Jordan with Seth Rollins in his corner. And the winner of the match in 13 minutes and 15 seconds Jason Jordan with that same little move, that little pop up neck breaker that he used to win the titles last week. So solid 3 stars, second best fight of the night, a nice match that gave Jordan a quality win, while further establishing his arrogant and immature persona. So slowly but surely, the heel turn is coming. So that's all I can say on that. So nothing really to complain about here. Solid way to start it off. Solid segment. A couple of newsworthy announcements. Cena in the men's rumble. 30 women in the women's rumble. Same rules apply. So, and a solid 3-star, good start. So second best fight of the night. One match better. Can't wait to get into that, and can't wait for MF and I to get into that because we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. Believe that. Wink, wink. So, all right, MF, come on in. Your thoughts on the announcements? John Cena in the men's rumble, 30 women in the women's rumble, and in the Jordan and Cesaro match, second best fight, 3 stars.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And one other wrinkle about it is that in the Women's Royal Rumble, they got to be eliminated just like the men, over the top. Both feet must touch the floor, which is actually very compelling because that's going to be very interesting. How are these women going to be eliminated? What are we going to see? How is that going to play out? That dynamic of the over-the-top rule. Because normally in other battle royales or any type of matches, when it relates with the ladies, it's always you just had to be you could be eliminated in any way by just being cleared out of the ring. If you go through the ropes, if you get thrown under the ropes, if you land outside the ring, you're out of the match. This dynamic is a little more different because now you have to get the competitor over the top and onto the floor. So that's going to be a major dynamic, and how's that going to play out? And, because normally in these matches, you always want to protect possible injuries. But just like with the Money in the Bank, these women went for it all. Like, even they did some high spots that, you would not think women would be able to do, and they did. So they pushed the envelope. So they're going to push the envelope with this Royal Rumble match. So I'm very, very interested to see how this plays out. To get 30, that's big too, because I did a number count last night of all the active women on both shows, and excluding the champions, which is right now Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. So excluding them, there's 20 on the roster right now. 20 active women on the roster, 10 on each end. Now, that means there's 10 other spots that are wide open that anybody can claim. You're absolutely right, Anthony. I think we will see some NXT standouts. I think 5 will go to them. I think maybe 4 are WWE legends, and they are the names that's been thrown around that we heard. But I think that 30th one might be held for a certain someone that is supposed to be making their debut very soon. You know who it is. I know who it is. Derek Ferrera's already predicted this person to win the Women's Royal Rumble and to go on to WrestleMania. So we know who that 30th might be. If they pull the trigger and that happens, whoa Nelly. But what if during that Rumble, that now the only way this can happen, and I'm just going to say this right now, the only way this happens, Charlotte Flair is going to have to lose the belt between now and Royal Rumble. If she loses the belt, she will automatically get an invite into the Rumble match. You know Becky Lynch is going to be in it. We know Sasha's going to be in it. We know Bayley is going to be in the Rumble. If Charlotte joins in, that's the 4 horsewomen of WWE. We know Shayna Baszler is part of Absolution. She's got 3 other women that she rolls with. The 4 horsewomen of MMA. What if at the Royal Rumble match we get horsewomen collision? WWE's 4 horsewomen versus the MMA 4 horsewomen. Are you kidding me? That's going to melt down the internet. The internet's going to be broken. No pun intended. They shall fade away and they'll classify themselves as obsolete on that. So, we'll see. Very optimistic. Cena being at the Royal Rumble, alright. I'm not going to make too much of a stink about it. I kind of feel like, alright, you want to make this the biggest Rumble ever. Fine. Cena Rumble, you ain't gonna win it this year. I can tell you that much. I don't think you're gonna win it because I think something is gonna happen that's gonna trigger him to get eliminated. Someone's gonna get him because heaven forbid it ain't gonna be Cena at the end. I don't think Cena's winning this year's Rumble. And then as far as the Jason Jordan thing goes and the whole 9 yards, I'm down with it. I thought this was all right. Yes, 3 stars. Second best fight of the night. I got nothing bad to say. I really liked what I saw. So, no, I think this was as good as you could have gotten. This was solid for what it was worth. Dee Dee Woodson, come on in. It's all yours, my love.
Okay, I just got in, so I'm not even sure what we're talking about.
All we're just talking about is the opening segment of Raw. Kurt Angle's promo about the Rumble, about Cena being in the Rumble, and then just the first fight of the night, which was Jason Jordan versus one of the members of the Bar.
Okay, what did you rate the match?
3 stars.
We said 3 stars.
Yeah, I'll go with that for the match. As for the segment, it was a solid segment to start with. And, you know, as far as the Cena comments, I can pretty much agree with that. I don't think he's going to win that because I pretty much see him being just like The Rock and the rest of them have been, where he just comes in for special events, you know, like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, holiday shows, things like that. I am wondering who all is going to actually be in the Women's Rumble. You know, we already know about a couple of people who aren't actual roster members at the moment, but you know, it'll be interesting to see who all they fill in on those 30 slots that they have. So I'm not going to say too much more on it, so just move on.
Now, I'm going to leave this up to you guys. Next match was Bray Wyatt against Apollo Crews. Bray Wyatt won the match in 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Now, I don't know if you guys want to get into that or if you want to cut it out. It's up to you.
This seems too long to be a cutout. I'll take it for a spin.
Okay.
Look,
go for it.
Solid performance by both men. That was nicely done. It furthers the storyline with Bray Wyatt because if you notice what happened after the match. Yes! It was an interruption. A delightful interruption. As it was a pontification of intelligence that was laid by Woken Matt Hardy. And yes, we all were awoken by his intellectual brilliance and his solitude that made him very cavalier, as they would say. But don't be twisted. You know, we've been seeing them battle it out on house shows. If you saw, there was a match that they had in Madison Square Garden not too long ago. You know, decent reviews from the wrestling insiders around the world. So it seems like it's going well. He's definitely over by the fans. They are definitely loving what they did. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think it was all right for what it was worth. You know, Apollo Crews and the Titus O'Neil Worldwide. Look, that was a well done squash fight, but give Apollo some credit because he actually did have some offense in the match. So it wasn't like it was a complete and utter squash. He even had a moment where it looked like he was going to steal the victory. He set it up for his finishing maneuver, only got caught with Sister Abigail, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. Good night. Good night. Fight was over. But I think there was also one little mistake in the fight that might come back to haunt down the line. Dana Brooke jumped up on the apron, and Bray Wyatt kind of scared her off the apron, crashing right into Titus O'Neil. That might lead to trouble down the line. I can see a little bit of a rift in Titus O'Neil Worldwide if they start playing that angle. So there's a couple of angles going on right now, but not bad for what it was worth. I'll give it at least 2.25 stars for the effort because it got more time than it was supposed to get. And the body of work was actually not bad. So that's my feeling for it. Dee, if you want to go right ahead. If you don't, just toss it to Florio.
She's like a short version of.
I'll give the match probably 1.5 to 2 stars, just for the effort because the guys did put in some sort of an effort. It was definitely a crazy match, to say the least, though. But I'm not going to say too much more on it. So, Florio, I will toss it over to you.
Solid 2 stars, absolutely.
Awesome.
You have a little bit of some nitpicking about this, though. It went longer than expected, but it still ended with a predictable result. I'm honestly not sure why they added Dana Brooke to the dead end Titus Worldwide. I thought for a second they might have been setting her up to join Bray Wyatt and have her possibly be Sister Abigail. I mean, now that would be something interesting, but she acted afraid of him rather than as if she was under his spell. But the Matt Hardy promo was more of the same, and I am hopeful that one of these days, now that we finally got the woken, broken Matt Hardy stuff, I'm hopeful that we'll get to that day WWE will take their cameras and go to the Hardy family compound in Cameron, North Carolina. And maybe we'll get to see some Senor Benjamin action. I would love
Vanguard 1!
Yes, Vanguard 1 indeed. Brother Nero's not due back for a few months because he's still nursing the injury. But if you notice during the woken Matt Hardy thing, he was multiplying. So, man alive, that was great. So, you should have seen our friend Luigi PS3. You should have seen her reaction to that. She was going crazy. So, love that. So, well done. Okay, now this is an interesting match. I mean, I'm surprised they actually gave this match away on free television already. But nonetheless, I guess they really wanted to open the year with a bang. So, non-title match, mind you. Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, 1-on-1 with the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Winner of the match in 14 minutes and 45 seconds. It was Asuka. Edie Woodson, I know, based on that result, I know you could not have been any more delighted because it's no secret you're not a fan of Alexa Bliss, but seeing Asuka give Little Biscuit Butt hers, I'm sure that put a big old smile on your face, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was giggling about like Matt Hardy was when that happened. Because last night I was actually off work, so I actually got to see it on TV and not watch it Memorex, so like I am SmackDown tonight. So, but one thing I am going to go back on is the segment prior to this match, because Alexa Bliss did try to get Nia Jax to come out and help her. And as we all know, Nia Jax was heading out to see Enzo. Not too sure what's going on with that storyline. Don't really care at the moment. Just kind of glad that she did what she did, which is, say that, Enzo was a little more important than going out there and sticking up for Little Miss Things, who thinks she's all hot stuff, which she pretty much kind of proved tonight or last night that she wasn't. Because the Empress definitely proved that
She's not ready.
Little Miss Bliss is definitely not ready for Asuka. Not many are ready for Asuka. So I am definitely thrilled to death. I'm going to actually hit this one pretty high and give it a 3 3.25 stars for the match. It was a very, very good match, even though Miss Bliss tried to play the card where she goes and hangs out outside the ring. Didn't work for her because she still ended up losing to what I hope to be the next Raw Women's Champion. So, not much more I had to say about it. Take it, Florio.
Yeah. Before I do, I have to correct. I got to correct MF. Shayna Baszler is not a member of Absolution, so I'm not sure where he got that, but she is in NXT right now. She's on her way to NXT, and
I think because I was thinking, who is the one that was on the member of who? Because there was one that competed in the Mae Young Classic. That's what I meant.
I think you're thinking of your girl Sarah Logan from the Riot Squad, over on SmackDown Live. Sarah Logan was in the Mae Young Classic, but
Maybe it is her. Yeah.
Yeah, because Paige wasn't in it. Mandy Rose wasn't in it, and I'm almost certain Sonya Deville wasn't in that either. So, but the only one that I know of was Sarah Logan. She went up against Mia Yim, of course, as you know, better known as Jade from Impact Wrestling. So, just wanted to make sure we got that addressed. So, anyways, I do agree with Dee Dee. I'm going to make a slight indemnit. I'm actually going to call this the second best fight of the night. And I'm going to bump down the Cesaro and Jordan to third, because this was 3 to 3.25 stars.
Actually, Floyo, I need to stand you corrected. No, Shayna Baszler is a member of the Four Horsewomen.
She is.
She is. Yeah.
You said
it's Jocelyn. No, that's my mistake. No, it's Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, Jessamine Duke. Yep, and Ronda Rousey. No, yep. Shayna Baszler is a member of the Four Horsewomen, and I was correct.
Yes, the MMA's Four Horsewomen, absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm hopeful of seeing your theory come true at Royal Rumble, but for that to happen, Charlotte's going to have to cough up the belt before then. But I honestly don't see that happening, to be honest. But you never know. But well, that's SmackDown Live. We'll talk about that business tomorrow. But as far as this here in the now goes, I do agree with Dee Dee. I mean, this was a very good match. I mean, it got the time it deserved. I mean, I'm still surprised that they gave it away so early and in a non-title bout. But now, this I do have an interesting theory I want to get into about this. The match was great. I mean, it was a solid match, even though Alexa was the pest heel, like Dee Dee said. And it would have been more effective if Asuka dominated Bliss in short order. But they obviously want to generate interest in a future championship rematch. Even though the first half of the match was slow and uneventful, it did pick up down the stretch, and it ended up delivering one hell of a match, and it lived up to the hype and then some. But my little theory is this. Now, I don't know how you two feel about this, but I'm gonna throw this theory out here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a possibility that they could be changing things up here, and we could possibly see these two maybe battle for the Raw Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble, and perhaps have Asuka win the belt, and then Alexa enters the Women's Royal Rumble match in order to create more drama in terms of the winner with Asuka out of the bout, because obviously Asuka is the odds-on favorite to win it. So dine on that theory, if you will. Dine on that little food for thought right now. So, but nonetheless, though, 3 to 3.25 stars. I mean, this to me was the second best fight of the night, and no big surprise, Asuka won it. And I could definitely, and with Asuka getting over on the champ, obviously Asuka's in line for a title shot, maybe at the Royal Rumble. And if they do, maybe Asuka wins the belt, and then Alexa could in turn be so angry about it, she could throw her hat into the Women's Royal Rumble match later in the night. And then the winner could be wide open, because I know everybody and their mother is going with Asuka right now, including me. So, but if they take Asuka out of the match by winning the title, it opens the door, especially for that rumored winner. So that's my little hybrid theory there. So 3 to 3.25 stars, second best fight of the night. So MF, Asuka and Alexa, they gave it away on free television, non-title already. So what do you think of my little theory? Do you agree with that little theory or what?
I mean, it's definitely possible. There's no doubt about it. What is it going to be? What is it going to look like? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting situation. I think everybody wants to see Asuka. I don't know. Would it be more? I think you would think it would be more worthy to see Asuka be in the Rumble match more than anything else, because you want the best of the best, and you want, the best in WWE. If you're going to make this the biggest Rumble of all, then you need some of the biggest names in there. I think it would be great to see Asuka there, but if she does win it and doesn't have to be a part of the match, then obviously the other will be the favorite. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. It was a good fight. I'm shocked with that. But, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Nothing more to say, all right? So, Anthony, it's yours.
Well, it's we're about to go into a ridiculously Raw tradition, and that is cutouts. It's cutout time. So take a breather for just a moment, because we do have a cutout here. And it was the monster among men, Braun Strowman, squaring off against Rhino of Rhino and Heath Slater. Of course, it ended up being a handicap match with Rhino and Heath Slater, because Strowman was calling out Slater as well. So, but Strowman, of course, won it 2 minutes and 32 seconds. No rating to a dud. It was what it was, and then Strowman, took him out after the match, beat the snot out of him. So, nothing more to say. Of course, let's get into this return match for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Roman Reigns defending the title against Samoa Joe, with an interesting caveat. If Roman Reigns got himself disqualified, he would lose the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship to Samoa Joe. But when all was said and done, the winner of the match, between 23 minutes and 5 seconds to 24 minutes and 50 seconds, the winner of the match, and still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns. Whoa, Nelly. I think we're all in agreement here. I think I speak on behalf of the panel here. Fight of the night. Obviously, because it's the new year, fight of the year already, but way too soon to, give it that honor. But man alive, what a match. Fight of the night. 4 to 4.5 stars. This was unbelievable. Very good match. I love the attention to detail by using referee John Cone, who was the referee of the bout last week, when of course Roman, put his hands on him. And it gave the match an intriguing hook via the possibility that Cone could play into a cheap, controversial finish, or have the Reigns character on a shorter leash than other referees would. And the action in the closing minutes, the use of the referee was very well done. And the late near fall for Joe was especially strong. I mean, great back and forth, hard-hitting match that played to the stipulation very well. They had the crowd invested the entire time. And it was really the first thing on the show that really felt great at that moment. So, man alive, that was unbelievable. A few more minutes, and then we would have been talking uncharted territory. We would have been talking 5 stars on television. We don't get those often. But man alive, this was on its way to being that. Almost got there. Just a smidge. 4 to 4.5. Fight of the night. MF, I mean, this was a good old MF fight. The Cesaro and Jordan match was more to my liking. It was more of a technical, scientific pace, but this was more your style, MF. Hard-hitting, physical, smash mouth, and most importantly, one of the best Be a Man fights we've had in a long time.
Ground and pound, and this was in your face. If you did not like this, there's something wrong with you. This was as good of a match, as good of a fight, as good as a brawl you could get, and it had everything. Especially that caveat about that rule about the disqualification, and I loved how Joe was really trying to manipulate Roman Reigns to committing that sin, committing that error. And it almost worked. There was one point in the fight where John Cone was dangerously close from disqualifying Roman Reigns, and he was ready to pull that trigger on him. And Roman somehow was able to get the referee to say, no, please don't stop the fight. That was an accident. I didn't mean to bump you. Joe threw me into you. I didn't mean to contact you. And he and John Cone kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. Like, all right. I'm not gonna DQ you. And we saw the ending. Great match. The psychology was good. I loved how they used the element of, if Roman gets disqualified, he could lose the title, because you saw those moments where Roman wanted to do it, but then was like, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna pull the trigger on it. I gotta keep level-headed. And then there was that one moment where he almost got DQ'd. And you never know. Sometimes 9 times out of 10, if you have a referee that's got that quick trigger, he'll call it on you. And John Cone's been known to have a quick trigger, so big ups to him for not calling that DQ. Because 9 times out of 10 he would pull it. I'll tell you, he would have pulled it. So it would have. But this time, if it would have been ejecto gameo, it would have been bye-bye belt too. So great way to do it. 4 stars, fight of the night. Yes, all right, I'll give you it, Floyo. Early fight of the year, because it was on New Year's Day. So first fight in, great match, great thing to do. But like you said, there's plenty of events coming up. We still got Rumble. We got Wrestle Kingdom in a couple of nights. So, yeah, too early to say, but not bad nonetheless. All right, Didi, what's in it? It's all yours.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree. It was a 4-star match. A lot of action there. Definitely a brawling type match. But not much more I'm going to have to say on it tonight. So, Florio, is yours.
Yeah, the only nitpick I do have about this match, a small one, should have been the main event. That's all I'm saying. Should have been the main event. Not what we got, but nonetheless, let's move on. Tough to move on from something that awesome, but we got to go back to cutouts here, and we got quite a few here. We were supposed to have a Cruiserweight Championship match with Enzo Amore defending against Cedric Alexander, but the match did not happen because Enzo Amore was in the hospital, as reported by MF on his Facebook. Just before Raw started last night, MF posted about Enzo being in the hospital and that the match was off. So, damn shame, but it is what it is. So what happened was Cedric Alexander ended up teaming up in a tag team match with, of all people, Goldust. And they went up against two members of the Zoe Train, Drew Gulak and Arya Daivari. Goldust and Cedric Alexander won the match in 3.5 minutes. I'll give it about 1 to 2 for the effort. I mean, it was a cruiserweight filler with Goldust coming off like the only star of the four, even if they gave Cedric the pinfall, which of course makes a lot of sense because, you know, he is, of course, the #1 contender. So now this was an interesting 6-man tag team match. This is a cutout, yes, but because the match was only 3 minutes and 25 seconds. It was Elias, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel. And I know MF is about to freak out here because who did they go up against? I don't know if this is a one-shot deal or if this is going to be a thing from now on. Finn Balor, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson, the Club, the new Club, reuniting. And of course, Finn Balor and the Club win the match in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. This was another solid match, another solid 1 to 2 star match. I mean, it was a nice reunion for those who know the history, MF. But I would have been a lot more excited about it. I mean, there's a lot of people, and I know MF included, especially MF, who would have been more excited about it if these guys were on SmackDown Live and they were heels. Think about that for a minute. But nonetheless, Balor, Gallows, and Anderson. Of course, Finn Balor got the fall on Bo Dallas with the coup de grace, or as Luigi calls it, the coup de grace. And if you saw her video last night, that's what she called it. She called it the coup de grace. So got a good laugh out of that. So love you, Luge. And then the main event segment of the evening. Of course, we had your reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion Brock Lesnar and his advocate Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman cut a promo as only Paul Heyman can. But then Kane showed up, and then Kane and Lesnar went at it, and then they had a pull-apart brawl to end it. So now I have to be doubly sure on this. MF and DD, if you want to get into this, we can, or if not, I'll take it for a spin and wrap it up. So
it's yours.
I figured. All right. But this was a solid segment, though. I'm going to give it that. I mean, because it's Heyman. I mean, because you know what Heyman can do. We all know how Heyman's the best talker in the business today. We give it that. But I mean, so Kane hits his finisher on Lesnar, who then sits up and laughs it off before clotheslining Kane to ringside with the belt. And 1 step forward, 2 steps back, like one of MF's favorite songs, Opposites Attract. So, but when it comes to Kane being taken seriously in the bout, and they didn't come up with anything for Strowman to do. I mean, where was Strowman in that? But maybe they're saving it for a future show. I don't know. But even though I'm a Raw guy, I'm honestly not looking forward to this triple threat match because, you know, you got Lesnar, you got Strowman, and you got Kane, and yeah, that's not going to sell. It's not going to sell it right there. So, but it's a very good thing that the Royal Rumble matches are what sell the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, because the storytelling on Raw right now is feeling flat for the most part. not good. So that's pretty much it for that. We're gonna get into our overall reviews. So MF, let's start it with you. First Raw of 2018 in the books. Not the greatest, but not the worst either.
This is about a 6 out of 10 for me. I thought this was a solid show. All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Should have been a lot more better. You have a lot going for yourself. Great start with Monday Night Raw. The announcement of the Cena being in the Rumble, and then the explanation for the Royal Rumble match itself. There was a few things that they did that I really enjoy. I really liked it. I thought it was and well done. As far as everything else goes, it was good for what it was worth. But like you said, if you're the A show on WWE, you gotta bring it a little more. And now I know it was New Year's Day, so I'll give you a pass here. But we're running the Rumble. Royal Rumble should be the main focus and everything else. And it's time to start ratcheting it up, turning up the heat, getting us interested in the entire event. You done well with the WWE Universal title picture, even though none of us are looking forward to that. But we got it. It is what it is. The women is going to be very compelling. I want to see where that goes from 1 week to another. You got Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins. That tag team dynamic, what's that going to look like? So far, I like what I see on that end. There's a couple of good things that I like. There's a couple of things I did not like. You just got to keep, so far so good. 6 out of 10. Didi, it's yours.
I'll agree. 6 out of 10. I think the ending of the show was one of the biggest low points. I agree. Joe and Reigns should have been the main event, not the Lesnar segment, because don't even get me started. I'll probably end up ranting on it because I hate when they end shows on segments because it just kind of is a letdown for the show. You want to end it on a high note, not someone just out here blah 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 blah. And I know Kane did come out, they did have the attack and all that stuff, but still, basically, you just spent I don't know how many minutes before Kane came out running your mouth. Sorry, not this little gray duck. I don't go for that. Last 2 matches wasn't much of anything. So really, the show pretty much ended back with Joe and Reigns. So in my opinion, if you haven't seen Raw, don't watch anything past Joe and Reigns. It's worthless. It's I wouldn't even call it storyline worthy because I don't even know where they're going with those last 2 matches, especially since one of them was just to fill in for the sick Enzo. Still, you're still top 3 has to be Jordan Cesaro, the ladies match, and then Joe and Reigns. Other than that, watch at your own discretion because a lot of it just isn't that great. So, not much more I have to say about it. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Depends on what's going on. I was late tonight just because we had a new resident tonight, and so I got out late. So we'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Night, guys.
All right. Night, Didi. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. But I'll wrap it up. 6 out of 10 for me as well. Didi pretty much made my points for me. Joe and Roman, of course, the fight of the night, hands down. Second best fight by a smidge, I would have to say, was Asuka and Alexa Bliss. And then round out the top 3 with Jason Jordan and Cesaro. Those 3 matches I highly recommend. especially Joe and Roman, because that was unbelievable. And the other matches were just there. And then you bookend it with a strong opening segment with Angle, laying the groundwork, setting the agenda. And the only thing I would say about the main event segment, Heyman. That's all I can say. You gotta check out the Heyman stuff because you know how great Heyman is. So 6 out of 10, of course. Coming up next week on Raw, Memphis, which will be going head to head with the college football playoff national championship game between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Maiden Georgia Bulldogs. The Miz is coming back. Miz is back from his movie commitments, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Awesome One. He'll be there. So that's pretty much the only thing we know about Raw coming up in Memphis Monday nights. So who knows? Maybe we'll see Jerry the King Lawler, perhaps. I mean, get a Memphis pop. I don't know. We'll see. But nonetheless, so let's get into this past week's edition of 205 Live as I get into my Tony's take here. We're only going to talk about this, but I will set the table for this upcoming week's Impact Wrestling. So this past week of 205 Live, we had Hideo Itami squaring off against Jack Gallagher. Hideo Itami won it in 9 minutes and 55 seconds via submission. 2.5 stars, perfectly solid bout, which made sense following the injury to Kendrick. The problem was that, unfortunately, no one really cared about heel Gallagher. And the longer it went on, the less they cared about both guys and anything they tried to do. And then we had Akira Tozawa against Tony Nese. Tony Nese steals one, 5 minutes and 45 seconds. 2.25 stars, okay match, with the company again teasing rebooting Nese following the beatdown by the Zoe Train. And then in the main event, we had Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali against Drew Gulak and Arya Daivari. And it was Alexander and Ali who win the match in 8 minutes and 50 seconds. Another 2.5 stars. It was fine, but it feels like the same guys in the same matches trying to soften up Alexander before he eventually goes up against Enzo. Nothing horribly wrong with it, but it felt too been there, done that. Too paint by numbers, if you will. 5.5 to 5 3/4 out of 10. It was a show. There was nothing terribly wrong with it on some levels, but nothing's happening here. It's largely the same guys working nothing matches in front of crowds that just don't care. And what's really hurting the show is the fact that the company has cannibalized the show, putting all of the quote-unquote important matches in with the cruiserweights on Raw. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I can say on that. And I'll give you my thoughts on tonight's 205 Live this upcoming Monday night when Ridiculously Raw returns to its normal time, which of course will be following Monday Night Raw on Monday nights. So with all that being said, let's what I'm gonna do here. There is no Impact review because it was a best of show, but Impact will be back to its regular show on Thursday night. So here we are. We're going to have Taiji Ishimori challenging Trevor Lee for the X Division Championship. Ethan Carter III will defend the Grand Championship in a first ever Grand Championship triple threat match against Falaba and Matt Sydal. Joseph Park will introduce his newest client. Well, actually, his newest client will be in action against John Bolin. Knockouts Championship on the line. Laurel Van Ness in her first title defense against Casey Spinelli. LAX will challenge OVE for the Tag Team Championship. Eli Drake to defend the Global Championship against Alberto El Patron. And in the main event, loser leaves Impact match. Cowboy James Storm against American Top Team's resident loudmouth, Dan Lambert, the gift that keeps on giving, as I call it. So there you go. So that all goes down Thursday night on Pop Television, 8 o'clock Eastern. Check your local listings for the time and channel in your area. So that pretty much puts the bow on this special Tuesday edition of Ridiculously Raw. But before we wrap it up, I'm going to bring MF in so we can set the table for Cerebral Smack Talk. I understand, MF, not just the first SmackDown Live of the year, but also a very loaded Mikey's Mindset, I understand.
we got the most loaded Mikey's mindset of all time, guys, because we are going to be previewing Wrestle Kingdom 12. The big event will be at least one night away. It starts on January. It goes down on January 4. Tomorrow, the official preview of that. Plus, the RWA's got their first show of the year. A night of appreciation. One of RWA's guys has retired, and we're gonna honor and appreciate one of them. Frank Champion, formerly of the Heavy Hitters, decide that he's gonna hang up the boots. It's legit. It's happening this Saturday night at the Chop Shop in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. I got the fight card for that. The fight card for the biggest event of the year. And yes, we're going to get into it too. Alpha versus Omega. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho for the IWGP for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. And then also I will give you my thoughts in the preview of the big one, the IWGP Heavyweight title on the line. Okada, the Wrestling Forums Wrestler of the Year of 2017, goes up against the winner of the G1 Climax Tournament in 2017 and former IWGP Heavyweight Champion in his own right, Tetsuya Naito of Los Ingobernables de Japón. There's going to be a loaded Mikey's mindset. Of course, the first SmackDown of 2018, 10:30 Eastern, right here on Braves Fan 95. Until then, have a good night. Florio, take it home.
All right, we'll do an F, and looking forward to that indeed. So there you go. Tomorrow night, SmackDown, Cerebral Smack Talk, 10:30 over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95. Running down SmackDown Live, the first show of the year. And that huge Mikey's mindset with the Wrestle Kingdom and the RWA. Check that all out tomorrow night at 10:30 over on Braves Fan 95. And then come join us again on this channel Friday night for our, you could technically say, season finale of Football Friday, because, I mean, what a show we're going to have. We're going to be previewing the 4 NFL wildcard playoff matchups, the Tennessee Titans against the Kansas City Chiefs, the Atlanta Falcons against the Los Angeles Rams, the Buffalo Bills against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, I'm still in the state of shock just saying that. And then the Carolina Panthers against the New Orleans Saints. And then the main event, our preview of the College Football Playoff National Championship game, the Alabama Crimson Tide, the Maiden Georgia Bulldogs, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Oh, my goodness, that is going to be a madhouse if there ever was one. Unbelievable. And then we'll close it out with our final NFL Power Rankings of the year. And then next Monday night, ridiculously, we're back in our normal time slot. And so we'll smack talk it on Tuesday. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for this Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF channel, Braves Fan 95. It's your ridiculously over good brother, Anthony Florio, here for good old MF Michael Fletcher. And in spirit, the Twisted Angel, Didi Woodson, the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and of course, our Imperial Grand Poobah himself, the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, Bullet Club Soldier 445, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Wednesday. And until tomorrow night for our special Wednesday edition of Cerebral Smack Talk with MF on his channel, Braves Fan 95, you've been watching the first Ridiculously Raw 2018 right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio.